Everyone, today I have a Finance SaaS platform for you for giving notification to trade. Very, very interesting business. Let's jump in. Okay, sorry, and this one is from Flippa. Flippa is the biggest marketplace, one of the first, if not the first one for digital assets. And this one is a finance niche website selling for $500,000. Okay, a whole different price point, but there's more to work here with in terms of data, and I like these kind of businesses. You see, there's a lot more information here on Flippa. So I'll go through the listing, and I also downloaded the P&L, which you don't have on Microns, so we can look at it together. So first thing first, interesting things about the listing. This is the asking price, $500,000. You see there are almost 4,000 views, and there are people watching, over the listing here, 138. I'd say quite high. I usually see less of that. On Flippa, you have two ways to sell, either by bidding or by classified ads. This is a classified ad. It's even sponsored. Okay, they're paying money here to have them on top. So this means that they are making good money from that. So they have the budget to spend it and sell. This is a SaaS, okay? It's not a content website. Very important here. Again, think about all those I mentioned before. Development costs. Okay, we'll see about that. I'm gonna go through these in a sec. Let's just quickly go to the seller, because there is something here about the seller. So it's Nad from Canada. He's verified here. It has a tiny transaction here of $500. It's a good sign. You know what? I would expect, to have higher deals when you are selling something for $500,000. Of course, not always. You want the verification to be complete, and that's a good thing, of course. You want transactions with good feedback, of course, and that's a good thing. Somehow it just feels to me, have something here for, I don't know, 10,000, 20,000, something like that at this size, but whatever, just personal feeling here. And you can go to the profile and see more details here, but I'm not going to go into this again. I want to focus on the listing itself. So this is AmpliTrade. It's 11,000 month net profit, low maintenance. Everybody say that. Put that aside. 7-year subscription business with intellectual property included, exponential growth potential. Everybody says that. Ignore. Crypto accepted. Great. Site age 7 years. Profit margin 79. Okay, so it's not like content websites where you see 95% profit margin. It's different. Not crazy high page views, 1,700 on average. Now on Flippa, they don't use the monthly multiplier, but a yearly multiplier for their profit. 3.8, let's say 3, just easier, is 3 years, so 36 months. Okay, and here it will be 36 plus 8, so 44. Oh no, it's not 8 months, whatever, 0.8 out of the year. Okay. Performance overview. You see the revenue, almost 14,000. So that's the revenue. Okay. And we are here looking at profit. That's the difference. You see here, that's how we get to a profit margin of 79%. It's pretty stable, 7,000. Then November, one crazy month. Question, why? Traffic is going up, uptrending, and then down, and that's up to January, which I like, because sometimes you don't see all the information, all the data, all the way till the time that you're looking at listings, so that's a good thing. And this listing is here for a while. You'll see, these kind of things, but looking at the comments, how far they are, and we'll see that later on. About the business highlights: monthly net profit 11,000, recurring revenue 10,000. Monthly recurring revenue, that's great. Low maintenance, 1 hour per week. When you're buying a business, even with this, of course, you need to put more time with this. You bought it probably to grow it, so it's not that 1 hour a week. Okay, 80% profit margin, 814 customer lifetime value, which is great. And you see that the customer acquisition cost is only 70. You can basically spend up to $814 per client to get a client, and still make money there. So that's a wonderful metric. If it's correct, you need to look into this, that you can spend. So definitely it's probably a room for growth there, because if you can spend more on pay-per-click and other ads, that's a good thing to have. If it would be, customer acquisition cost would be 70 and then the lifetime value would be 100 something, nah, here it's great. It's more than 10 times more. 7.5 years in business and intellectual property included. Okay. It's a subscription-based business offering model portfolios. It's a portfolio that the investor can copy, and the aim is to provide investor with better returns than the traditional mutual funds. Okay. It's a proprietary algorithm that picks the stock. Once you buy it, you need to understand what the algorithm is, okay? Because you need to know how to maintain it. They are saying that it was developed over the span of a year by the owner, and it's coded in Python and hosted on an online platform. Great. It's remained unchanged for the first 7 years and was updated in November 2023. He's saying this later on, that this is also the reason that there was a bump in sales. Why? I don't know what's the relation to that. Something to ask them. It will not require the maintenance or update for the next 10 years at least. I'm a little concerned about these kind of sayings, because things change in the market all the time. So how can you make such a statement? A freelancer and the current business owner can be hired. Business owner can be hired, reasonable fee for updates if required in the future. Okay, remember that development costs I'm keep telling you about. These are the kind of things you need to pay attention to over here. See, okay, he's already offering to be hired by the buyer. Okay, the service signs up, and then he basically get an automatic email with information how to use the model portfolio. Then once a month on the first trading day, or once a week, they're getting email with the latest update. And then basically the person needs to go and do that trading by themselves. That's what they're saying here. Amplitrade does not provide copy trading services. Customer can update their subscription information via self-service portal. Customer question support are handled over email. Great. Operations. It's operated by the owner and virtual assistant. And the owner spends 1 hour a week. This is a list of the instructions, what the owner is doing every week. It's basically getting the information, putting it on an email, exporting and stuff like that. Everything else is handled by the virtual assistant. They have been trained, and you have standard operation procedures, SOPs, if you heard that term before, for all possible cases, which is wonderful. Part of the big problems of owning a SaaS is getting the right information to run it yourself. If everything is documented and maybe you're getting those employees, then that's wonderful. Okay, so this is what the virtual assistant does, answering these questions, responding, refunds, things like that. Marketing. Customers are acquired through evergreen meta ad campaign. Traffic is directed to website homepage, where a visitor can either subscribe directly or sign up to a newsletter and get 1 month free. There are sporadic emails to encourage leads to convert to paid customers, and limited times offer. Okay. Other ad platforms like LinkedIn and Twitter have been tested in the past and showed promise. However, the buyer did not pursue testing and optimize on these platforms, and Meta was providing enough traffic. Important point about this. So they're talking, you need to understand how much of the traffic is organic and how much it's for ads, how much they're spending on it. We'll look at the P&L and maybe try to assess, but the traffic is not that high. So that's kind of a risk there if you need to keep spending on ads over there, and then keep the engine running. You don't have anything organic in this business, as it seems now that I'm reading it. Finances. You may notice a spike in revenue. Of course, that was very obvious. In November 2023, this coincided with the algorithm update, the introduction of new tier subscriptions, okay, Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal. It was also the first time we offered sponsored newsletter. Okay, so they started doing sponsored newsletter and they're a SaaS. That's pretty unusual for a SaaS. I'm not saying they shouldn't do it, just saying something to think about. But they got $750 for this, which is really nice. The current ad budget provides a stable customer base, revenue, and net profit. If they're doing 750 on one send, they can probably do much, much more if they just get more sponsors. And it seems that it's not too hard. By the way, finance niche, of course, pay very well, okay? With sponsorships, with affiliate marketing, with ads, with everything. So this is all high paying. Opportunities for growth. The business has significant room for growth. A buyer willing to invest part of the profit into advertising will experience immediate exponential growth. Question, why the owner does not do it now? Okay, if they can do that, ask them. Other ad platforms are also untapped, like they mentioned. Google AdWords they haven't used, Meta they used, Twitter and LinkedIn would be the next logical platform to explore. SEO is completely untapped source of traffic as well. As I mentioned, it seems that there isn't a lot of organic traffic, so it's really untapped, the SEO here. Creating content targeting long tail keywords could be proved to be very profitable. But this is something, it's hard to predict. It's something that you can do, but you don't know what the results would be. So keep that in mind when you're making an offer for such a business. The finance niche is highly lucrative with a newsletter with over 10,000 subscribers. That's really nice size of a list in the finance niche for a newsletter. Okay, they're already making $750 for every send. Maybe it's a separate business over there just with this. Maybe they can sell it separately. Anyway, 10,000 subscribers providing additional income through sponsored newsletters. This will provide revenue stream diversification. In November, they offered sponsored newsletter for the first time, and the price was $750, but they're claiming to have $1,500 to $3,000 to be as par with the industry benchmark. I don't know. Research this, find out if these are really the numbers. I'd say this makes sense. I'm not sure about this. Okay. Revenue can be further increased by creating additional products and services. We surveyed our newsletter list and we have a list of such products. Great. Churn rate could be reduced by offering different subscription terms. So here's what I've learned about SaaS. The most loyal and good customers you have are the ones that are subscribing for 1 year. Although you get temporary growth with shorter plans, I'm not sure that is the best thing to do, because then you have overhead with dealing with these kind of clients. It's something to think about. I'm not saying no, but these are not as good clients as the one that are paying a yearly subscription. Customer testimonial. I don't know how your algorithm works, but it has selected some amazing winners in the last 6 months. You're definitely outperforming any other system. Okay. You need to know how they got these testimonials, of course. Where is that? That's very general. I can put that text too. Hey, what's up? Please like and subscribe here at the bottom, and let's continue. Additional information. The ideal buyer for this business would have a background in online marketing and investing in trading. Anyone can run this business because all processes have been automated, requiring very little time to manage. And that's great. Okay, this is kind of business that if you're buying a SaaS and you're not a tech person, it's something to consider here, because it has all the SOPs. It doesn't seem like it's too complicated technically to run it. You basically need to be a good operator with this kind of deal. You need to validate all the information here with the seller, of course. Okay, they can write whatever they want on these listings. The seller will provide a buyer with support during the transition, explain everything in detail. The owner is selling because they are running 4 other businesses simultaneously. Being serial entrepreneurs, they're ready to move on from this business. They plan on using most of it for crypto trading. I wouldn't do that. Actually, I prefer recurring revenue over crypto trading, but maybe they're really good at that. Fine, great. Financing, that's interesting. The owner is open to different sale terms. Partial seller financing earnout is possible with a minimum of 75% down payment. Payment in crypto is accepted and preferred. So I'm one word about earnout or seller financing. This means that you're paying a down payment. They're offering here 75% as a down payment, and then the rest of the 25% is divided over a period of time and is paid out of the earnings of the website or the business over a period of time. So basically, the business that you bought is financing itself for a period of time. This is helpful when you don't have all the cash, or usually what happens, you can offer here, let's say 75% of that 500,000, and then say, the rest will be over, or let's say 3 years, okay, or 2 years. Or you can say, I don't want the 75,000, I'm paying less, and you're giving, and maybe only 12 months of seller's financing. Okay, there are many ways to do that. By the way, for recurring revenue and SaaS businesses, there is a company called Boopos, and they are basically funding, giving loans for these kind of businesses, not so much for content websites. So this is another way of financing digital asset for buying. Let me go ahead. Okay, we've been through this information. The customer lifetime value here is different than what they stated. They stated 800 something. This is 600. Why is the difference? Ask the seller. And revenue and expenses, I showed that before. That's 7,000, not 7,000. Oh, right. Profit, sorry. 4,000, 4,000, 5,000. Revenue is 7,000. Then it jumps to 68,000 profit. Pretty drastic, right? What happened? What did they do? You need to ask the seller. Okay. These are the expenses. I'm going to go through the P&L in a sec, so you'll see that all these in. What else do we have here? That's the traffic. You see it goes up. They probably did a lot of advertising. Then it goes down, probably with no advertising. Okay, ask the seller, what's going on here? I'm actually concerned about the part here where with what's the organic versus paid traffic here. Organic 41%. Okay, I don't know. You can't tell from here what's the paid part, but most of it from United States, which is a good thing. Okay, developed countries pay more, stronger clients. These are the list of assets: domain, email addresses, email subscriber list, the technology, the files, everything. Post-sale support included. What's included in that? I've said that a few times. Ask the seller. Now look at this: social media, 5,000 followers. The strongest here is the 10,000, 11,000 subscribers. Look at that. Okay, that's basically your moat when buying this kind of a business. And then I told you at the beginning that you can know from the comments how old the business, the listing is, how long he's been trying to sell it. So look at this. The first one is from December. So already almost 2 months now, with different questions of the seller. I don't like that he's deleting. So the seller deleted a comment from Frederick Bach. Why is he deleting comments of other people? That's not a good sign. He's also not very attentive. So look at this, December 13th, and then it takes him 4 days to answer. Sometimes I see that they don't answer at all, actually. That's pretty terrible, of course. And here from January 14th, he didn't mention anything. It could be that this listing is not even on sale anymore, and they are basically just left it there. I don't know. But you see, he's not replying to this guy over here. Let's look at the P&L. Jumping here. You see the spreadsheet, right? Great. Okay. Let's see. Subscriptions over here. So this is the income and cost, well, no cost of goods. 9,000, 8,000. You see that? And then in November, 73,000. Okay. Let's look at the other numbers. I'm, of course, very interested in the expenses. Advertising. You see this? It's pretty consistent over here. And then look, then in November, they did not spend more on ads. Hence, how come they had more traffic suddenly? What exactly happened? This is the key here with this business, because they've done something that was very successful. They don't want to keep doing it for some reason. So, because if not, they wouldn't sell it, right? So what's going on here? Let's look at other things. Processing fees, okay. Refunds, chargebacks, MailChimp, fine. Moonclerk, it's $90. I'm not sure what that is. And virtual assistant, is here around 200-ish a month over here. So they don't pay a lot to the virtual assistant. I think that maybe even some of the tasks that the owner does, they can save that 1 hour and even move that to a virtual assistant. Okay, maybe pay them a little bit more. Definitely something you can do. Let's look at the multiplier. So they want, do we have average? We have total. Okay, so this business made 131 net in 2023. Almost 132. 132 divided by 12. 11,000, like they said. And I want to check and the price. I know that they have the multiplier there. I want to double check that. Divided by a monthly of 11. 45. Okay, for a SaaS business, this multiplier is actually pretty reasonable. I would still negotiate it down, still on the higher side, especially at this current market trend. I would look even more into what happened here in November. I would expect them to spend much more here to get to this number of sales in November, but they haven't. So what exactly happened and why they don't choose to run the business right now? And yes, they said that they want the business for trading and stuff like that. I don't completely buy it. So ask the seller these kind of questions. What else? Okay, I think that that's more or less what I have to say about this listing. Any questions or something that you disagree with me? That's okay too.
I just think I have an observation to share. I think that November thing, it said on there, it was a Black Friday sale that they did. So I think they got a lot of publicity on that front, and that's why that revenue shows in November. I think I remember reading that while you were going through it.
You're right. I was aware of that, but it's not like 20% more or 50% more.
I get it. I just don't know what the deal was or what they offered.
So. No. That there's missing information here, of course. And also, this business exists for 7 years. What happened all the other years, and why can't you give us the P&L of all these years?
And the algorithm changed in November as well. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Maybe that was a marketing ploy. Maybe it actually didn't do anything.
I don't know. Maybe. Overall, I say it's a very interesting listing. I'm not saying that it definitely is something to consider, and of course, it's part of the due diligence. 3 basic things, as I've mentioned, to buy online businesses would be the P&L, would be the traffic, so Google Analytics viewing account, so you'd know what's the history of the traffic there. Also paid versus organic. And Google Search Console. You'd want to go with all these to find out what the actual keywords and traffic the website gets. Okay, this is what I have for today. Any last questions? I'm happy to answer, to stay here a little bit more. And if not, we'll call it a day. Okay.
For the P&L, will you get it from the owner of the site, or it is already on like Flippa?
So it depends. On microns, these are usually you need to ask for them. On Flippa, not always. Most of the time you do see a P&L, but not on every listing. What I'm saying that even if you see it, first of all, with this kind of business, the last one that we looked at, look for the P&L. Ask for a P&L for previous years. It goes without saying here. You need to ask for that. And never ever buy a business without a P&L. So either it's there on the website or ask them. And also you need to verify this information. So jump into their Stripe account, check whatever you can, check website or ownership. That's part of the whole due diligence process. It's something else I didn't mention. But it's definitely essential, of course.
I just want to express my appreciation for your presentation. Very much appreciated.
Thank you.
Joining in, and for some reason I had the wrong name. Either way, much appreciated. I really look forward to the next session. I'm also quite heavily into.
Okay. Hope to see you next time as well, in the next monthly meeting. Jason,
Go back question. You mentioned about the for the larger business. You mentioned there's a financing option. I think you said Bluehost or Blue Post. What was the name of that? I couldn't find it in a quick Google search. How do you spell it?
I'm going to put it in the chat.
But referencing what Mikhail just said too, I really appreciate the chat. An interesting discussion. Appreciate you walking through it. Insightful.
Did you get the chat there?
I did. I found it.
They also pre-vet deals many times from a marketplace called Empire Flippers. These are bigger deals. Basically, you don't need to go find the business, then get their approval, which is usually pretty fast, okay? Versus, a bank or whatever, which, banks don't finance digital assets usually. So they know how to do that. They do it pretty fast. But even if you don't want to go through that, in some listing you see pre-vetted by Bupos. So you just know that you have the financing right there.
Excellent. Thank you.
Hey, I hope this SaaS business assessment was helpful for you. Here and here, you can find more deals to see if these are a good fit for you. And I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.